Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Warships Blitz with Terry. Today, we're taking a look at the Black Kamikaze. The new premium tier, well, I don't know if it's premium, it probably is, but you know, the black premium, the extra premium, the special premium, the premium, I guess? Anyway, the Kamikaze, the tier 5 black ship that's just about hitting the shelves now. The Kamikazes were built well before the Second World War and were kind of outdated at the time. So mostly they were used for convoy duty. And that was true. So the Kamikaze class actually consisted of a bunch of destroyers that didn't have names in the beginning. And this one, well, not the black one, but the regular one, was number 1. But apparently the Japanese realized that nobody's going to feel particularly patriotic or attached to a ship named Destroyer Number 1. And eventually named it Kamikaze, which has nothing to do with running into other things and exploding violently, but more because it's called, well, that's just the word for, I think it's called Divine Wind. Yeah, that was just the name they chose for it. I think the whole concept might have come up a bit later of dropping things violently and exploding. So, what did she do? Well, convoy duty mostly, like I said. But I don't know if she wasn't particularly good at it, but most of the time she was rescuing survivors from the convoys because the Americans had torpedo things. And that wasn't just true for the convoys. It was also true for a lot of the destroyers in that class that got torpedoed by submarines. Which, yeah, sounds very successful. There was one particular encounter between the actual Kamikaze and the USS Hawkbill, an American submarine that was trying to torpedo a convoy. And the Kamikaze was actually dropping very, very precise and very skillful depth charges onto the Hawkbill, such that it took the destroyer quite a bit of skill themselves to get out of that situation, and they eventually managed to, lose brake contact and get away with it. And both sides were so impressed by the skill of the other side that after the war, the Japanese captain of the Kamikaze, which survived the war, and the captain of the USS Hawkbill were writing each other to congratulate each other on their skills as warriors, really. And this is a thing that you'll actually find a couple of times. There are a couple of instances. I think there's a British or American soldier who was landing in Normandy, and there is a German machine gunner who was defending. There's also an incident where a B-17 was severely damaged and was escorted illegally out of Germany by one of the fighter aces at the time because he just couldn't shoot them down. So there are such stories, even in something as brutal as the Second World War, where people show respect for the skill of the respective other side as warriors. Anyway, which brings us to the game, in a way. So, the Black Kamikaze. She's obviously a much upgraded version of the regular premium Kamikaze. I'm joking. She isn't. This is the exact same ship as the regular Kamikaze, with one difference. The regular Kamikaze, when we kind of have a quick look here, has 3 engine accelerator ship skills, and the Black Kamikaze has 2 engine accelerator ship skills and a smokescreen at tier 5. Which means, it's one smokescreen only, but it's quite useful. And that's, I think, literally the only difference between the two of them. I did have a check before I was upgrading everything and putting camos on everything. They are literally the same ship. So, since I haven't reviewed the actual Kamikaze yet, what is this thing like then? Typical Japanese destroyer, rather squishy. Tier 5, she is quick. Very quick. So, even though I haven't actually built this thing for maximum speed, she is doing almost 41 knots at tier 5, which can put a Soviet destroyer to shame, really. She is relatively maneuverable. The guns, they're Japanese destroyer guns, and it's mid-tier, so they're World War I vintage. they're not great. 120 mils, long reload with 7.5 seconds. The turret traverse is absolutely atrocious. So just make sure that you're pointing them in the right direction before you decide where you want to shoot, because otherwise you have to wait a certain amount of time to get there. The torpedoes. Again, this is a Japanese destroyer, so it's all about the torpedoes, really. Not too many of them. We've got 3 twin launchers. Actually, they're interestingly mounted because, let's see if we can spot this. So they're 2 back here, but the third one is actually here in front of the bridge, in that well here. As you can see, that's where the third torpedo launcher is. So she can have some somewhat interesting angles, but in return, also her forward angles aren't the greatest all the time. So what do we have in torpedoes? 3,000 damage, 7.8 kilometer run, and 66 knots torpedo speed, which really isn't all that terrible. The anti-aircraft armament is, well, not negligible. Let me put it this way. The actual ships, some of them were actually retrofitted by having, I think, 2 of their guns and 1 of their torpedo tubes removed. That is to stick more anti-aircraft guns on them, because the Japanese eventually realized that their main problems were having freedom dropped onto them by the Americans from the air. So they tended to stick more anti-aircraft guns onto them. Unfortunately, they put the atrocious 20 millimeters, what was it, like a Hotchkiss copy or something? I can't remember what it was, but the absolutely terrible Japanese 20 millimeter manual reload after 5 shots thingies. And these weren't that great. So this is pre-refit. She still has all her torpedoes, which, to be fair, in Tier 5 is much more appreciated than having extra anti-air firepower. The surface detection isn't that great, especially for a Japanese ship. Even with the historical camo that I've stuck on this, she only has a 5.47 kilometer detection range, which means that you are often getting outspotted by other things, which is kind of unfortunate because you're in a Japanese destroyer. Fortunately, you're in a very, very quick one. So, what do we have on the torpedo reload? 37 seconds, yes. So, torpedo reload. That's what I've done to this ship because, well, the guns are terrible. So, torpedoes is the way to go, and that goes for the elite bonus. I have played around with the destroyer modernization just to get a bit more speed out of this. But in the end of the day, the torpedoes are your main weapon, and getting the reload down is really what you want to do. That's also why I fitted the torpedo mod in the first slot, just to get the reload down a bit more. I've got a propulsion mod in the second slot, and I've actually got speed in the third slot, because she is decently maneuverable. You really don't need the steering mod in this ship. And she's surprisingly quick, which is actually more useful in terms of dodging, because everybody just aims... doesn't give enough lead for shots at distance, and a ship this fast is relatively difficult to hit. I have put a commander on her, like a tier 8 commander, just because I wanted to get to the Mistweaver skill and to see what the impact would make on that. This is useful in one regard. So if you're playing the Japanese mainline destroyers, you will have noticed that in the last patch, some of them actually, like the tier 8, the Kagero, some of them actually get smoke screens. Which means that your captains you previously would have been training for this line, wouldn't have had this skill, but would have probably gone with Adrenaline Rush. Whereas here, if you use her as some form of captain trainer, having the Mistweaver skill actually makes sense in this ship. So what do we have? The 2 torpedo skills make absolutely the preheating for getting off the ground quicker, which is really useful for center cap maps. Victorious Charge, because, well, there's nothing really else here. Have the Daredevil. You could go with Survivalist, but then again, you're not recovering that much in terms of HP anyway. You're in a destroyer. You've only got 10,000 HP to begin with. So I'd rather be bobbing and weaving, if it comes down to that. The Exploit Weakness does somewhat make sense, because you might be shooting at things that are flooding from your torpedoes or burning from your guns if you're so inclined. Fully prepared here, because again, nothing else makes sense, and the Mistweaver, which is quite a useful skill. And after that, there's not all that much really that would make a huge difference on this ship. Like I mentioned, the historical camo, this makes actually sense. So she has some very, very useful things that you want on this ship. The torpedo range, yes, that's good. the torpedo speed, which is a rather unusual thing to have, but yes, that's very good. And the surface detection down by 4%, which you really, really want because her surface detection isn't that great to begin with, and you're in a Japanese destroyer. Right, so let's play a battle. We're on Southern Archipelago and we're bottom tier. I have put my community contributor badge on. What could possibly go wrong seeing someone with a CC badge sailing a ship that just hit the shelves? This will be fine, I'm sure. All right, let's do this. We've got a Ryujo carrier. Carrier is not good because that means I'm going to be spotted. New Mexico, König, a Bertin, a Königsberg, and a Kuma and a Farragut. Okay, at least the Königsberg is definitely not somebody I would like to see because, yeah, slightly overpowered tier 5 ship. And we're spawning over here on the left side. If you're in a destroyer, I think you're pretty much always spawning on either flank here, which is really useful because you want to get into the cup quickly. And quick she is, as we're about to find out. Okay, there we got, if we straighten her out, 43 knots and 46 if we throw the engine boost into the mix. Okay, so what you want to do usually in a Japanese destroyer in this map is you want to capture something and then you want to get out of the way of the airplanes as to not to get spotted. Good old Mr. Nisbet again. In case anybody doesn't get the reference, have a look for How Not to Be Seen with Monty Python. It's very much worth watching. And of course I'm spotted by aircraft. Because again, 5.4 kilometer detection range. Okay, it's possible that the destroyer is... No, the destroyer is over at the other side. He decided not to go for the cap. And I'm unspotted. Look at these torpedo angles. It's the front-mounted... you see where the torpedoes are dropping off from, which means that you can actually drop the frontal torpedoes off very close to the nose by because it's it's on that launcher there. Okay, Mr. Bertin, Monsieur Bertin, which way are you going? Have you remembered that there was a destroyer here and that was spotted? Well, let's see. In case he decides to go, well, straight ahead forward, which is probably not advisable, but I'll just drop some torpedoes onto him. Okay, that's all of them. Because the reload is reasonably quick with just 30 odd seconds. So, oh, there's a König. Okay, could have dropped him as well. The other thing that the Kamikaze gets is an extremely pointy torpedo spread. I mean, they're twin launchers. Oh, there comes some Bertin torps. So he probably figured I might come around here. Okay, let's see if we can stealth torp the König. Back to, oh, nope, never mind. Okay, we're spotted. Might as well use the gun. Switch over to the high explosive. Wait for them to eventually get around to reload. Thank you very much. And see if we can set a fire. Because I think he was set on fire earlier by aircraft. Okay, I don't think he's paying very much attention, is he? Hello? Hello? Earth to battleship. Okay, he's not paying attention. Let's see if we can get his attention. Have some torpedoes. Doink, 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 doink. That's a perma-flood. And let's see if we can add a fire to the mix. The carrier doesn't seem to be interested in dropping me. Oh, okay, he has realized I'm here. Well, good on you, bye. So, that's a good time to use the smokescreen. Stop and use the smokescreen because there's also a cruiser shooting at us, which is never a good thing. One smokescreen, there we go. No longer spotted, even with fighter aircraft overhead. So now the König doesn't know where I am. He's firing blind into the smoke, which doesn't help him very much because I have spec'd this thing for a torpedo reload. Which means by the time that my smoke dissipates, I have some torpedoes. 2 spreads should be enough to sink this one, which means I can leave 1 for the cruiser. Oh dear, it's the Königsberg. I think at this point that I'm dead. The Königsberg isn't shooting at me, so I think he's just getting torpedoes away. Let's see how much attention he's paying. Here, have a spread of torpedoes. Okay, he's over-penetrating my nose because I was reversing. Okay, he dodged those. Torpedoing a Königsberg who knows what he's doing is relatively difficult. The best thing you can do is kind of get him to point his nose at you because he only has 1 gun there. But still, these these armor-piercing 150 millimeters are very, very unpleasant. Yeah, I am very dead. So he's probably going to turn out. So we can get 2 torpedoes with a little bit of a mixed spread out. Can we still get 1 or 2 in? Yeah, we can get 2 in. Okay. Ploink. Can my team kill him before? Come on, guns. Got the armor piercing loaded. Can my team kill him before I get to it? And then many things happen at the same time. Oh no. 800 health. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Kill him, kill him. Okay, he's dead. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, many people died. Everyone's dead. What happened? Okay, the Königsberg was killing me, and somebody killed the Königsberg, and somebody killed something else. I lost overview, but there's only one ship left, with one at this point. And yeah, there seems to have been a bit of a ruffle stomp here. But, you know, such is life of destroyers. You live fast, die young. End of the Gneisenau, obviously. Let's just wait for this Ryujo to die. It shouldn't be long anymore. There's another Kamikaze here, but that's not the black one. That's the regular one. So what's he doing? Is he trying to torpedo the Ryujo? He's not going to live long enough for you to torpedo him. You do realize that, right? Because there's battleships and things over there. Also, he seems to have found his arrow keys and knows how to turn around. But that doesn't help him, because he's being shot at by everybody else, and he's dead, and that was that. And we won. Even though we were the only one in the team that died. But, you know, we died to a Königsberg. And there are worse ways to go. If you're in a destroyer, dying to a Königsberg is an honorable way to go. Let me put it this way. So, anyway, that is the black Kamikaze. It's just like the regular Kamikaze, but black. And with a smokescreen. So, if you don't have a Kamikaze and you want one, or you want to have a mid-tier captain trainer that actually matches the rest of the Japanese destroyer line, that's not a bad ship to have. Also, it's got a purple insignia of sorts, because it's black. Getcha? Well, they couldn't do black, because then you wouldn't see it, because it would have been black on black. But it's purple, which is special, I guess. Anyway, I'll stop waffling now. That's the ship. I think she's great fun. But I do have this, it's mid-tier, so, and I do have the same opinion of the regular Kamikaze. But the extra smokescreen does come in handy. Anyway, now you know, and that's it from me today. I'll see you next time. Bye.